Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Cancer is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Cancer, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. We start with the Eight of Swords. Confusion. Overthinking, rumination, perhaps. Sometimes this card is about us getting so tangled up in our thoughts. It is a Jupiter in Gemini energy anyway, right? So it's kind of this idea that the more we think about something, the more we think about it. And we think about it, and we think about it. And we don't end up doing anything. All this thinking and no conclusions, right? No actions being taken. So we want to get out of this mode where we've just been, something's been on our mind for a long time, you know? I think you're somebody that is very thoughtful. You pay attention to the details. You don't like to act until you're kind of certain of like what it's going to be like, you know? Maybe we're working on spontaneity. Maybe we're working on trusting intuition a little bit, right? Because this card is a tangle of wires, yeah? And sometimes we need to do the thoughtful analysis, but then maybe we need to put it down and just decide intuitively what direction to go or what to do or how to respond or, you know, what to say. All the planning and replanning and pre-planning and all that kind of stuff is good as an exercise. But when it comes down to it, we have to make our decision from something more, I don't know, something more stable, something higher than this. Right. Let's put this into a little bit of context and let's see what is going on here. There's the Two of Swords. It looks like a pair of scissors, right? Cutting through the Eight of Swords, cutting through that tangle of wires, right? So the Two of Swords is us making a decision, but we're not making the decision via our intellectual reasoning. We're not weighing the options anymore. We're trusting the intuition, which is the little crescent moon at the top of the card. Now, we've got more air. We've got a Queen of Swords. 10 of Pentacles. 2 of Pentacles. And another sword card, a Princess of Swords. 4 of Pentacles. The 10 of Wands. 3 of Cups, and the Lovers. Oh, very nice. I think we're taking a chance on an investment, right? An investment of time, effort, energy, and or money. I feel like there is a miracle coming your way. I feel like your life is about to change in a very, very big way. I feel as if we've got to get our mind out of this thought loop and we've got to just start taking action. We need the fire. We need to put all of our energy into something. This is a 10 of Wands, right? This is pedal to the metal, okay? I think to seize an opportunity here. And I think it's kind of like, pardon my voice, by the way, I've got allergies lately. In the Eight of Swords, it could be that we are looking for the perfect plan, but it could be that we've overplanned. It could be that we have gotten so complicated in our structure and our scheme and our schemata that we've lost the whole side. We don't even know which end is where the beginning. It's like we've drawn one of those mazes, you know, like the kids do. One of those mazes and we don't know where's the front, where's the back. I don't know how to get out of here. So it's kind of like saying going forward right now, we don't need to have a perfect plan. Maybe having a bad plan is better than no plan at all. Just going forward with this is better than not doing it. But we might say, well, I don't know the plan yet. I don't have everything figured out. The Two of Swords is cutting all that stuff away and just saying, I got to tell, what does my heart say? What does Spirit say? What does my intuition tell me? What is the High Priestess telling me, right? Let's just go forward. We'll figure out the plan as we go. This is somebody who it's kind of like on-the-job training. You know, we're learning from experience. The plan is going to unfold as we unfold it in real time. So as long as we're moving forward, we don't need to have a perfect plan here, okay? and we will get to our union. Whatever that union is, we will reach the goal. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down over here with our little octopus friend, the Eight of Pentacles, right there on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and give us our confirmation. If you have a prediction for that card, put it in the comments. I think we should use our intuition at every opportunity. Okay? So, as we look around the room, we really only have the one major, don't we? Yeah, the Lover's card, the Union. All this stuff is being torn apart. All these Swords cards are taking things apart. This is change. Things are up in the air. Matter is converting into energy, right? Something that was stable and stationary now is in motion. And it's all this swirling energy. Finally, at the end, there's union again. Okay, so this is about bringing things together, and the more we just kind of analyze something and think about it and delay our decision, right? We're delaying the union. We're keeping something separated rather than having that union. So I figure like you're trying to make a decision on something. And let's work our way backwards, right? Let's start with the final outcome here. The decision has been made. Your commitment has been given, right? This is a card that's saying, heck yes, 1,000% yes to something. Yeah, it's our choice. We've made a choice that is in harmony with our true will. We are guiding our chariot, so to speak, in harmony with our true will. We've made the right choice. We made the choice that is bringing something together in our lives, that is bringing us closer to God, Goddess, Deity, our true self, guardian angel, bringing us closer to our person, bringing us closer to our destiny, uniting us with our true will. This is a card of union. It is choosing something, choosing one thing over all the other things. I choose this path, which means all the other paths are going to be faded out of my sort of awareness, right? And because that's the nature of choice, when we choose something, it means we're not choosing other things. When we're focusing our attention on this, it means all the other stuff over here is like blurry, right? It's not just because I got glasses. And so this is the outcome we're looking for. But we see that there's a lot of questions going on, right? A lot of issues that are going into this decision. Well, it's going to be an investment. Do I have what it takes to put into this to make it work? Right? Do I have the right resources that I need in order to make it work? Right? Do I have what it takes? Right? Do I have enough to make the investment? Am I willing to sort of convert my matter into energy and invest in something? We have, obviously, we have a Two of Pentacles. Am I ready for change? Am I ready to take a step in a different direction in my life? Am I ready to, do I have what it takes to keep going? Can I make the steps, am I smart enough? Right? Can I see the big picture? Am I really like aware of what's happening, or am I just being kind of deluded? Well, it's very hard for us to get a bird's eye view when we're wrapped up in this tangle of thoughts, right? So we need to transcend the mind a little bit. Maybe over here with the Four of Pentacles, we're sort of questioning our stability. We're saying, okay, and you know what? Do I have a good foundation from which to build? Have I done enough of the internal work that I can have this kind of a relationship? Am I stable enough in my life that I can go and say yes to this, right? And of course, the Ten of Wands, do I have the energy? What if I'm out here alone and I'm doing this all by myself? Can I carry the weight on my shoulders? Right? Am I willing to ask for help? Do I have people in my life that support me? Three of Cups, what if I get this union? What if I say yes to this and I continue on this path and I don't like it? What if it's not the good time or the celebration that I thought it was? Right? So we have a lot of questions here that's how we're kind of trying to figure out if we should do this or not, if we should say yes to this. But to get here, to say yes, we need to realize that, look, you do have the resources, okay? Once we stop thinking and we rise above the thoughts a little bit, we can see the bird's eye view. We can see the bigger picture, okay? We're ready for change. We know that it's going to be, things are going to be kind of alternating. Things are going to be shifting, right? We know that we're capable of learning new things. So we're capable of figuring out the route and figuring out how to deal with the elements of our path as we go. We're certainly capable of making a decision and trusting our intuition. Okay, and you do have a stable foundation, a stable base in your life. You're a person with good habits. You're a person with, a kind of a strong core, let's say, right? And you are somebody who is you're not afraid of hard work, but you also know how to ask for help, right? And you're somebody, too, that knows how to communicate what you want. Maybe this is a relationship. Maybe you're kind of thinking, well, should I get involved with this person? This card is saying that you know how to express yourself. You know how to communicate your needs, right? Because when we're thinking, okay, I want to say yes to this, but I want to make sure that I can be satisfied, that I know how to like advocate for myself and say, look, I want more love, I want more affection, I want whatever, right? So we kind of know how to create love, right? We know how to communicate and express what we want and what we need. Yeah, this is Mercury in Cancer, right? So this is our ability to kind of know ourselves and know what I want, know what I'm about, what is going to satisfy me, what is going to be like a symbol or what's going to be the evidence that this is good for me, knowing how to recognize that and kind of knowing how to advocate for that. And, it's kind of like saying, well, if I say yes to this, I want to, there has to be certain elements in it. There has to be certain kinds of, certain kinds of needs being met for me, right? And so you have that ability, but this is in the position of the difficulty. It might not always be easy for you to communicate your needs. And I think first we have to understand what they are in ourselves, but then we have to be able to sort of express that and ask for it, and be ready to, other people don't just know what we want. We can't expect any situation to automatically provide us with all the tools we need to have a perfect union here. We might have to go into a situation and say, okay, well, you know what? Look, I need a desk. I need a laptop computer. I need some place to plug my stuff in. Do you have a little refrigerator for my water? Like, you walk into a new job and they don't really know you, right? They're getting to know you, but you have to be willing to communicate and say, look, if I'm going to do my job, I need a different computer, so I need something faster. Like my mouse doesn't work. Like I need a mouse that works. We have to be able to communicate our needs and not expect anyone else to just anticipate them. Okay? And that's something that I think you're working on, is sort of speaking up and saying, hey, look, if I'm going to be here and do this, like I need a couple of things, And I feel like it's almost you don't want to impose, so you don't want to ask. You need to. You need to advocate for those things. You need to speak up. Okay? The Ten of Wands over here in the position of your environment. This is obviously feeling that there's a lot of pressure coming from the environment. It's like you're taking a role or you have a duty, whether this is a new job or whether this is a relationship, romantic relationship, or even a friendship. It feels like there's a lot of weight on your shoulders. It feels like it's all up to you. That if you fail, the whole thing's a failure, right? Realize that this has to be an interdependent thing. That it's an exchange. It's kind of like you do your part, but other people have to do their part too. The romantic partner, your spouse, your job, the employer, the company itself. It's like you can't do your job if the company's not doing its job. We have to be able to communicate about that. We have to realize that it is an interdependent relationship. You're relying on them, they're relying on you. Okay? And that the whole weight of things is not on your shoulders. Yeah, that you're not doing this in a vacuum. You're not an island, okay? Because I think that would very quickly burn you out, very quickly wear you down, okay? And then, of course, as your general energy, we've got a Four of Pentacles. And that Four of Pentacles is kind of this feeling, it's almost a confidence. It's almost this feeling that says, you know what, I can say yes to something, and even if it doesn't work out, I'm still going to be okay. I still have something, I have myself to fall back on. So even if I give all my energy to this relationship and it crashes and burns, which, it could, I'm going to be okay. Even if I take this job and I give it everything I've got and I'm all into it and something happens, the budget gets cut, the layoffs happen, the company folds, goes under, bankrupt, I'll be okay, you know, because this is kind of like our safety net. I have to make sure that we've got, you know, it's kind of, you know, it's water, shelter, food, and transportation. It says no matter what, even if I get fired tomorrow, I'm going to be okay. Not because I've got a ton of money saved, but because I'm going to be okay, because I'm going to figure out what to do next, because I'm going to be able to formulate a plan on the fly, and I'm going to be able to come up with something and go do something else, go get another job, or, you know, whatever it is, right? If this relationship doesn't work, that's okay. I'm still going to be okay. You know, that we're intertwining our lives with something, and maybe it's a person, maybe it's a job, but we also know that if that partnership were to dissolve, as they sometimes do, that we would find a way to be okay still. We have something to sort of fall back on, our own kind of core, right? Now, on the path of the dove, we're kind of working our way backwards today, aren't we? By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. The readings are totally free. Right? The way forward for you is sort of a curiosity, kind of this almost a courage, almost a boldness that kind of says, you know what, I don't know the answers. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I'm going to just take a chance. I'm going to find out. That I know that whatever I encounter on this path, I can deal with it. If I don't know the answer, I'll ask somebody, I'll research it, I'll think about it, I'll figure it out, right? This is the card that it's kind of a student energy. It's allowing us room to fail and allowing ourselves room to make mistakes. That, I think, is a key thing. Especially when we have a 10 and a 10, it's kind of like, no one's expecting perfection here. We can feel free to try and be curious and experiment and try to innovate a little bit, try to think outside the box a little bit, because there is no plan. We don't have a 6 of swords. We don't have a blueprint that says you do these particular steps and that's it. If we're trying to learn a new skill, there's no like right way to do it. No one's giving you a recipe and saying, here, make a gumbo. They're kind of just saying like, hey, you want to work in the kitchen and cook gumbo? You're saying, yeah, sure. I don't know much about gumbo, but I'm willing to learn. They're not expecting you to make the perfect gumbo first try. You know, it's going to take time. We're going to have to learn. We're going to have to communicate. We're going to have to, you know, hey, I'm going to need some different ingredients. Or, hey, I'm going to need a sharper knife. You know, this is dull. Won't even cut nothing. So we're allowing that we're going to make mistakes. We're accepting that other people are going to make mistakes too. If this is a relationship, we're getting to know each other. Nobody's perfect, you know. So we're communicating, and as long as we're communicating honestly and authentically, then this can really be something spectacular, especially if we have this sort of intuitive idea that this might be something really, really meant for us, that this is my soulmate. Okay, but then why is it a challenge? Why are we kind of struggling to sort of to harmonize, you know? Well, it's because we're human. Okay, we're human. And so we can have these intuitive hits that say, hey, this is the path for me. This is definitely something that I'm supposed to be doing, and it's okay that I'm not doing it very well at first. Because, you know, I'm human, and I'm not an expert. We're not just suddenly, you know, master magicians. See, the tarot is trying to teach you how to be a magician. The tarot is trying to remind you that you are the magician. Okay? And to become the best magician that we can be, we have to try and we have to fail. We have to explore, we have to learn. We have to say, hey, I don't know the formula for that. Let me teach it. Let me learn. Teach me how to do it. Let me observe you doing it, and we'll work together and I'll figure it out. It's kind of like you go and do a job in the kitchen, and you know, you're too sort of shy or scared to tell the chef, hey, I don't know how to make a gumbo. Can you show me? Because we kind of feel like I should already know that. They're kind of expecting me to know how to do it already. What do I do? Well, I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to try. I'm going to see what happens. And maybe that's it. Maybe we sort of We do it ourselves. We try to do it once ourselves, just kind of like what we think it would be. And we're bold enough to say, okay, here's what I came up with. And they might say, oh, this is crap, kind of a Gordon Ramsay style, right? And we say, okay, yeah, it's crap. Teach me how to make it good, right? I want to learn. This is the best that I could do. But, I'm willing to learn how to do more. We're open to change, right? And that's our Two of Pentacles. Being open to change, realizing that I don't do everything perfectly all the time. That I don't always have the right answers. That anything that I may say could be very different in a few minutes or a few days or next week or something, because we're always learning and growing. There is no fixed knowledge, right? Even with the tarot, these are living, breathing cards. These cards might mean something different tomorrow. They might mean something different in the next 5 seconds, and they might mean something different to me than they do to you. But we're open to changing our ways, changing our behaviors, and learning about each other and how we have to sort of weave our lives together, and we have to interact. We're kind of in this dance with each other, whether this is at work, at school, at home, family, friends, or a romantic partner. Doesn't matter. We're dancing with things. So there's going to be ups and downs, twists and turns. And that's part of the fun, is getting to know somebody, and part of the fun is like trying your best to make the gumbo that you think is right, and then having the chef just kind of throw it in the garbage can and say, come with me. I'm going to show you how to make a gumbo. And then, Gordon Ramsay is showing you all these things. It's like when you ever watch that, what's the show? Oh, what is it? Kitchen Nightmares. Oh my God, I love that show. Because he goes around, and first people say, okay, show me your food. People put their food out. And he's like, this is crap, this is crap, this is crap. And he says, come with me. And he goes in the kitchen, he shows them how to make it good. And sometimes the owner, the kitchen nightmare, contestant or whatever they're called, they're very resistant. They say, how dare you come in here and tell me my food is no good? Get out of here, right? But then, Gordon reasons with them as he does, and they end up becoming a little bit open, and they end up sort of humbling themselves and say, okay, I can do better. This can be better. Please, teach me something. Show me what I can do, how I can be better at this, And I feel like that's kind of the openness we need in every situation, in every relationship we have, whether it's work or school or romance or whatever, right? Even in spirituality, everything. But we have to be willing to do all of these things. And that's part of our Two of Swords. We've got to choose to go in there and do that. We can choose to be very rigid and say, no, I'm not going to change. No, I'm perfect the way I am. And no, I'm not going to see the bigger picture. And no, I'm not going to learn anything. Or we can say, yes, you know what? I'm going to be open to this. I'll use my intuition and trust that this is the right path for me, and that we will have this sort of, we will have this union of forces. I feel like this is a real miracle. I really do. But it takes work. It takes work. Okay? So we've got to cut our way out of this Eight of Swords. We need the bigger perspective. The Queen of Swords here is trying to rise up above the situation and really look at it objectively. It's like when you're in Kitchen Nightmares and Gordon Ramsay's telling you that your restaurant sucks, right? It's very hard to be objective. But you'll see as the show goes on. Now, I'm not like promoting the show or anything. It's just my personal, I like it. Eventually you're able to step back and look at it and be like, yeah, you know what? He's right. It's not working the way it is. Otherwise, we wouldn't have called him to try to be on the show, Maybe it's scripted. Maybe it's all fake. I don't know. I don't care. I enjoy it, right? But this is the idea for us to look at it and say, yeah, you know what? I can learn more. My way is not the perfect way. That I can do better. I can grow. And I have to be comfortable enough to say, yeah, you know what? You're right. What can I do to be better? Or we have to speak up too. It says, well, what tools do I need? What things do I need in return so that we can make this work better between us? Okay? The Ten of Pentacles in the background is sometimes it could be this idea that things are already flawless, that things are not flawless necessarily, but set in stone. Things are already etched into the fabric of the universe, and there's no changing anything. When you get a Ten of Pentacles, you say, no change. Don't change a thing. But what do I always say about the Ten of Pentacles? that this is the picture of your best life. You have to get out a sheet of paper. You have to draw a picture of your best life. Draw it in pencil. Why do I say pencil? Because you're going to have to erase some things and redraw different things. You're going to have to add on to it. You're going to have to edit it. It's going to change shape. It is change. There is no stability in life. Everything is change. But if we go into a situation and thinking, this is it, nothing's ever going to be any different. This relationship is always going to be like this. This restaurant always going to be just as bad. Nothing can ever grow. Nothing can ever change. Nothing can ever be any different than it is now. Well, we've already lost. We've shut ourselves down. Okay? So the first step really is realizing that change is needed. Once we realize that change is needed, then we can sort of like, start thinking about how that's going to go down. Eventually, we got to stop thinking about it, and we got to start doing it. Okay, well, I'm going to look at the mystery card. I really want this to be maybe the Empress, which shows the organic nature of our life. Not a fixed and set in stone kind of thing, but something that's always growing. It's organic. It's dynamic. It's always in flux. Yeah. So maybe the Moon card, but maybe the Empress. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. Yeah, the Moon card. I was right. Because this is crossing a threshold of fear, right? Admitting that things, because when things are set in stone, it's kind of like, well, nothing I can do. Absolves me of all responsibility. Absolves me of all worry. Think this is just how they are. I can't change them even if I wanted to. So, que sera, might as well just, chill. Might as well just not care. Crossing that threshold, admitting that something is not set in stone. Some changes need to happen. That's kind of a scary thing. Because now it's like, now we have to ask all the questions. Am I capable of doing anything better? Who am I really? When you're in a restaurant or whatever and you're the cook and they just want you to do things a certain way, it's set in stone. It's like, okay, well, I can't innovate. This is how they want me to cook. And you see that on the show too, right? Where the chef is back there saying, well, that's how they want me to do it. So that's how I do it. Absolved of all responsibility, right? Because going through that doorway that says, okay, things are not good how they are. Things are not set in stone. Things can change, but now I got to step up to the plate and can I even do better? Like, am I even capable of doing anything better than this? So it's nice when things are set in stone, because then we don't have to look inside and see what we're really made of. You see, because this is a divine doorway card, let's do one divine doorway card. This is the divine doorway oracle pack. And what we've got today is patience. Everything will soon come to light, and then you will see things will be all right. Well, that's the thing about the Moon card. We go through this dark, scary doorway. This is a pitch black door that we've got to walk through. We don't know really what's going to be on the other side. We don't know if we're going to sink or if we're going to swim. And there be monsters in here, right? It's when we confront all of those kind of demons of ourselves, all those things that we're like afraid to look at. But if something's set in stone, if I can't change, well then, whew, what a relief, right? And this is how I am. And we all know people like that, right? That refuse to change because they just say, hey, this is how I was born. This is who I am. You can't change who I am. Okay, maybe we can't change who we are in essence, but we can certainly evolve and grow and expand and kind of edit, modify a little bit. Maybe not change exactly, but so some people are unwilling to look at themselves because they just think, well, this is how I am. What's the point of that there is no possibility of inner work or spiritual development because we are who we are. So some people are unwilling to change as a way of absolving themselves from the responsibility of their behaviors. Going through this doorway is a card of change. It's a card of taking a step into the unknown. It's saying like you found yourself at the edge of a dark wood. Are you going to enter that wood? Well, I think the Lover's card is saying, heck yes, 1000% yes, let's do it. All right. What we're going to do is an extended reading. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link up top. There's a link in the video description. New readings for Cancer, Tuesdays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you want to watch these readings at the website, go to doveandserpenttarot.com. You can also find me on Patreon. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. Okay, these readings are free, and it really does help out the channel, and I do appreciate that. Leave a comment, too, and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.